One of our viewers sent me a question last week and it went like this. We've had a few good years now, but I'm not taking anything for granted in 2019. What should I be doing in my business to protect against any downturn? I answered the question at the time, but decided to detail the response in today's episode as it involves general principles that can be applied to any business. And so breaking it down, there's always 5 things you can do when results are going your way that will stand you in good stead in an economic downturn. So first up is to build a funding buffer. And take the time now to review your funding arrangements and ensure you have a good chunk of funding available to your business. Because when your business has entered crisis mode, it's no time to be introducing yourself to your bank manager. So regardless of what your current cash situation is, make sure you build a healthy buffer into your available funding now. Because this extra liquidity and investment capital will give you the options you need to make the best decisions should circumstances take a turn for the worse. So the next is to review your risk. Put a priority on analysing your business risk profile. In particular, you should pay attention to your supply chain, especially if you're an importer. Review your risk in key personnel, in product risk, in infrastructure, in foreign exchange exposure. Run some scenarios and make sure that you've mitigated risk where possible and have an action plan for each outcome. Then you need to ring fence your customers. Because when times get tough, it turns into a buyer's market. Competitors get more desperate, margins get squeezed, and it then becomes tougher to hold on to your customers. And if you've been complacent about your existing customer base when times were better, you'll be exposed when times change. Because customers don't like being taken for granted. So what can you do now to get your customers rusted on? How can you drive customer retention and loyalty? The next action point is to eradicate lazy costs. Just because your margins are good doesn't mean you should abide lazy costs. You must have a regular expense review to make sure you aren't carrying costs that can be eliminated or reduced. And if you allocate every expense line to a team member and get them to challenge the costs. So keeping your cost base keen now means that you have fewer tough decisions to make later on. And then finally, keep innovating. In a downturn, you typically have less scope for innovation and R&D. And if you've prioritised it when you were able to, you will then be thankful when times get tougher. Anything that can help you build a sustainable competitive advantage is worth concentrating some effort on now. So these were my 5 key points. Build a funding buffer, review your risk, ring fence your customers, cost control and innovation. Have a look at your business and ask yourself the question, how are you placed to withstand a changing market?